Hello, welcome to another special Sudoku solve video. I am going to continue the Sudokuvania puzzle. The last unlock was zipper lines, I'm pretty sure. Zip lines as portrayed by zipper lines. And this was the puzzle in question. So yeah, okay. That's where it is going to continue. Well, let's start with the zipper line. That cannot be a 2 because that will be double 1. But okay, so what can that total be? It is not 6, it is 3 different totals. So that's 7, 8, or 9. Well, not like that. That's 7, 8, or 9. It couldn't be 6 anyway because that's only 2, 4, and 1, 5. It couldn't be, it couldn't be 9 because if that's 3, then that's 6. That's not possible. If that's 6, then that's 3, and that's also not possible, so it's not 9. So, and this sees 1, 2, and 3. So if that is 6, then that's 1 or 2, and that's not possible, so that's a 3. And that's a 4 or 5. That's a 6. Maybe something. None of those are 8, so one of those is 8. So one of those is 8. Oh, well, okay, so that 7, 8 is going to appear in the middle here. So 1, 7, 8. So that is a 1, 7, 8 triple, so that's not a 7. So one of those is a 7, so none of those are a 7. Let's do it like that. I think that's clear. Then in this row, one of those two is 7, so that's an 8. And one of those two is 7. So that's a 5. So none of those are a 5. So that's a 4, 8 pair. Where that's not a 4. I could have seen that before, but that's okay. 4, 8. So none of those are 4. So that's a 4. That went back and forth. That's a 7 and a 9. So these two digits have to appear in this column. They can only appear there. So that's a 5, 7, and 9. That's a 5, 7, 9. Oh, well, okay. So that's just a 2 and a 4. So now that's not 7. So we resolve that pair. That's a 7. That's a 7 because I have that highlighted. Okay, so what can that digit be? In the sum of 8, you always have 1, 2, 3, and 5, 6, 7 because it's 1, 7, 2, 6, and 3, 5. This sees 5, 6, and 7, so that is 1, 2, or 3. Well, it's not 3. So that is 6 or 7. Oh, well, one easy thing I can do is 4, 6, 8, 5. That works. So, okay. Well, this is just the 3 ways of making 8. So the digits you have left is the digits that you cannot make 8 with, which is 4, 8, and 9. That's not a 4 or an 8, so that's a 9. Neither of those is a 9. Oh, this 4. Oh, this 4 sees that, so that's an 8. That's a 4. That 4 has to appear in the bottom row, so that's this digit. So we know that that's a 5, 8 pair. What did I do? 5, 8 pair, yes. So where does 8 appear? It doesn't appear there. It doesn't appear there because that blocks the side of the 3. Then they can only see one more digit, which is the 9. So that's not true. This 1, 8 pair removes it from there. So one of those is an 8. And that aligns with these. Now, is that interesting? It cannot appear there, so it appears in one of those. Oh, well, okay, so 8 sees those. That cannot be an 8, so 8 is in one of those places. Well, not those, but that's besides the point. And that aligns with these. So if that's an 8, one of those is an 8. If that's an 8, one of those is an 8. But the point is, that can never be an 8, because then you would have 2 8s in this row. So that's a 1, that's an 8. What I think is interesting is where does 9 go in this column? Because that does block the view. So it cannot be in these first four digits, because if it is, then the 5 can only see up to that digit. So it must be beyond here. Same goes for that 3. It can be a best here, but that's already a 4, so it's in one of those. And that 9 makes that a 9. Now same thing for 8. 8 cannot be in the bottom here. 8 cannot be there because of that 8. Because of that 8, that 8 cannot be there. So because of these 8s, well, okay, that could never be an 8 because of the 3 clue as well. So that's an 8. So that's a 5. That's an 8. That's a 9. That is an 8. That 8 makes this an 8. And that not an 8. Sure. Well, okay, now that cannot be a 7, right? Because then these two digits will be smaller than 7, because you cannot use 8. So this 5 clue sees these 3 digits optimally, and then that one, and that's only 4 digits, so that cannot be a 7, that's a 5. That's a 7. So the only, oh no, 7 is already, oh, I was going to say the only place where 7 can go is there, but it's already there. I need to pay attention to that. So where does 7 go in this column? It doesn't go in these first two, because then you have the problem of not seeing enough digits. It cannot go there because of that 7. These digits are already taken, so one of those. And I think the same is true for 6, but could 6 be there? Now you could see possibly this digit, the 6, so that's 2, then you see the 7, and then you see the 9. That's only 4 digits, so no. So this is a 6-7 pair. So 3, 3, so the 3, only place 3 can go in a column is there, so this is a 1-2 pair. And then it will be, okay, so it will be arranged that one of those is obscured. So it's either 1-2 with 7-6, or it is 2-1 with 6-7. Okay, that is interesting. So these two have an influence on each other. That is very, very interesting. One of those is a 6. Because, oh, no. Again. Okay, I need to watch my scanning on that. So this is not 5 or 6. Could be 7. It could be 7, 1, or 2. It couldn't be 1, so it's either 2 or 7. So that is 6, 1 or 6. Yeah, it's either 1 or 6. I'm scared that I already made a mistake. I'm not seeing anything that indicates that though, so I'm going to... That's a 1-2 pair, so that's a 7. Wow, what a what a box. So that's not a 7. Oh, and it's not a 5 either, so that's a 9. So that's a 7. That is a 9. We know that that's a 5 now. So what am I missing? What am I missing exactly? So that 7 makes that a 1, that a 2, that a 1, that a 2. So that's now a 6. So that's not a 1. We use this I clue, so I think the rest is just normal irregular Sudoku. Normal irregular. That 8 places the 8 there. Use the pencil marks. 9. Well, what's this then? So it's not 6 or 7. Could be 5. If this is 5, that's 3. That's not possible. So it is one of the low digits. So it's either 1 or 2. And this is either 6 or 7. It's not 6, it's 7. 7 and a 1. That's an exclamation mark. Solve the outside tutorials. Solve the clues outside the grid. Okay. Sure. That is continuing there. I can see this continuing here. I haven't done enough yet to do any of that, so I don't know. Let's just continue on whatever this is. 2s. No, not anything that I'm seeing. What am I missing here? It is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and 9. So that's not a 9. And that's all I can see. Okay. Sorry. Let's just check. In this column, those cannot be 7, that cannot be 7. There has to be a 7 in this box, which is in one of those. It's not even a box, it's a region. I should call it what it is, I guess. 6. I don't feel like I can do much more with that 6. This 4 makes one of those a 4. What else am I missing there? It's a 1 as well. And one of those a 1, so that's a 1-6 pair, so that's a 4. Then I'm missing a 3. Oh, well, that 4 makes that a 2. So that's a 3. Yeah, that's a 1-6 pair. Then this is a 1, 2, 3. That's not a 4. 1, 2, 3. So it's a 1, 4, 3, 4 pair. Then I'm missing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this is all still going right, I think. I hope. Okay, that's somewhat correct, I think. 5s? Is that interesting? No, that could be a 5. I almost missed the coin thing again. 3. So one of those is a 3. That's not a 3, that's not a 3, so that's a 3. That's the only place 3 can go in that region. So that's not a 3. It's not a 4 because then that would be a 9, so we have the 2. Oh, we could have had that 4 before. How many 4s do we have? Almost all of them. One of those is a 4, we know that, but that makes sense, that aligns with that. Okay. So what is interesting? 1, 2, well, I'm just missing 2, 5, and 9 here, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 5, and 9, yes. But that isn't resolved in any way. And in this box, I am missing 1, 2, 3, I'm missing 4, 5, 6, 4, 7, and 9. That's not 7 or 9, that's a 4. That's a 3, That's a 4. And in this column, I am missing a 5. Yes, I'm still very, very afraid that I'm making mistakes. I so hope that I'm not. Well, it's not really hoping, I guess. I'm trying to pay, you know, as much attention to it as you can. Okay, so we know that that's a 6, so that must be a 7, so that's a 9. And then it was the case, so these are all visible now, so only one of those can be visible. So we have the 2 and the 1. That must be in that orientation. Now 1s maybe? This column needs a 1. Cannot be there, it could be there though. Okay. So what am I missing here? It is 1, 2, possibly 3, 4, 5, 6. 3 and 6. That 3 makes that a 3, that a 6. So that's a 1, that's a 6. So what 6 am I missing? I'm missing a 6 in this column. And it must be at the bottom here. Yes. What am I missing in this column? It is a 2. 2, so that is a 5 or a 9. What am I missing in this column? It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 and 7. So that's a 9, that's a 5, that's a 9. And then I have these 3 left over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 5. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait. So 1. And that's it. That is... What? So how do I know where this line continues? Because I don't think I can necessarily assume that these belong together, right? I need to know more. Well, that's the end. I know that that's the end. But I don't know where the end is here. So... Whoa, okay. Cells on thermos or outside cells on thermos or arrows can be blank, but whip arrows must still sum to it. Okay, so we know that that's a 9 and that is a 1. Okay. Is that what we're doing? This is what we're doing, I guess. But whip arrows must still sum... Oh, wait, I did that. Black dots always border 2 digits. Blank cells on whisper lines are ignored. So what are we saying? They are in a 1 to 2 ratio. 0 is... that has to be a 4, right? And these are ignored. Well, 0 is... Could you say... 0 is not in a 1 to 2 ratio with itself, right? Well, I guess twice 0 is still 0, but that... I hate that. I hate saying that. That does sound wrong to me. But I'm going to assume that that is correct. Did I do anything? Is that correct? Is that correct, or am I saying bogus? What is the exact rule with the black dots? Because maybe that'll give some clarification. Separate 2 digits where 1 digit is double the other. But double 0 is 0. That's not a difference of 5. So there has to be something between here. So that's a 9. Zipline centers must contain a digit. Pair some to the center even if one is blank. So this has to be higher than 8, right? And then these two have to sum to 9. But thermos, is slow thermo a thing? Must contain a digit. Oh, well, no, right? It could be double 9. This. But I don't know if that's correct. I don't know if that is correct because the center pairs sum to the center even if one is blank. So that couldn't be 9. If that's 9, then that also has to be 9, and that breaks the thermo because it doesn't increase. So that is a 9, and then that is also a 9, and then that is blank. Does that do anything? Oh, that revealed the whole zipper. Okay. Well, let's continue. This 6 makes that a 2. So that's now either a 4... 1 or 4. So that is 7 or 4. So that is a 4 because it's on a black dot. So that's a 4. That is a 4. And now that 4 makes that an 8. And that is 0. So that's 2 or 8. So that is 0. That's 0 or 6. If it's 6, that is a 0 or a 1. Could be blank. Could be blank. It's 0. It could, well, okay. I'm gonna use 0 as blank, I think, because I need to keep things in mind. I feel like. So this now is either 1, 4, and it cannot be 16. So this is 1 or 4. Do dots always have to contain digits? What did it say? Black dots border 2 digits. Yes. And blank cells are ignored. Okay. So these black dots always contain digits. That is just a fact type of thing. So that if that's 8, that's a 4. If that's a 2, that's a 4 or a 1. So that is a 7 or a 4. So if that is a 4, that could be blank. And then that could be an 8. What did it say about zipper lines? The other can be blank, but the center has to contain a digit. The other can be blank. So that could be an 8 with nothing there. Right. How am I ever going to resolve that then? Because 4, that's blank. That is a 4. That's an 8. And then we're correct. Or we go 7, blank, which is 1. Oh, and then that's a 2. That isn't correct. So that's not a 7. That's a 4. That is a 4. Now that is blank. We know it's not a 6, so that's an 8. Okay, interesting. That's also interesting. So, okay, so we have to know things about this dot, I assume. Well, whatever it is, right? That can be at most, this can be at most an 8. So how many digits? These contain digits, so these... Oh no, they don't necessarily, because they could contain an 8. Okay, so what cell corresponds to which one? I'm going to alternate just so I can keep count. Yeah, so the bulb and the tip. So this one and this one. So that's a 6. Then that is a 2. Whoa, okay. Hello. That's a hidden puzzle. That 2, so then this is that. So that's a 2. So that corresponds to that 8. That corresponds to that 5. Right? Am I still doing that correctly? 6, 6, 2, yes. So that 7 is with that 1. That is a 4. That's a 1. That's a 4. That's a 7. And that's a 6. All clues contained in the Hall of Illusion grid are lying. So this isn't correct. Wait, what? Is there... Okay, so maybe there's a better explanation. I'm going to have to think what I want to look at now. Because I think I'm going to try and do the outside puzzles for a bit. Because I want to, basically. And look at the Hall of Illusions after. But I do want to read what it has to say. Clues contained entirely inside the Hall of Illusions grid are wrogn and indicate the opposite of their normal rules. Digits on a wrogn thermometer entirely inside the Hall of Illusion grid. So these are not contained entirely. So they are correct. Okay. So that is still an 8 or a 9. If we look at this whisper. Okay. Give me a clue back. Digits on wrogn thermometers increase as they get closer to the bulb. So this increases. So that's a... So that... But then that must be a 1. Clues... increase as they get closer to the bulb. But I feel like then that must be a 1. And that's already a 1. Because that is true. So they must increase. Digits on wrogn whisper lines must differ from adjacent digits by less than 5. Digits in a wrogn dark cell must be greater than all non-adjacent dark cells. Wrogn black dots and indexing clues must not portray the relationship in their respective values. I think that is going to be something, because I feel like that now has to be a 1. Because this thermometer is contained entirely within the Hall of Illusions, and it has to increase. So I feel like that has to be a 1, right? But it cannot be a 1 because that's a 1. Because this isn't entirely in the Hall of Illusions. Unless... So what does it say about scry clues? Contained entirely inside Hall of Illusions grid. So that might actually be correct. Because they are contained entirely within. So they must differ less than 5. Or is it 5 or less? Adjacent digits by less than 5. Okay, I will look at that later. I'm going to do this. For now, I think. and this thermometer. I think that must be doable at this point. Because those and those. So this one. So what we're saying is that these two correspond to those two. I'm going to label that. And these two correspond to those two. And then we're saying that this is bigger than those two. And this one's smaller than those. But that's always true, isn't it? So whatever this is, right? It's either 1, 2, 2, 4, 4, 8, or 3, 6. So this is, what is it? Then 7, 6, 5, 4. And then this one is, I'm going to portray 0 as blank. So it is 0, 2, 4, 6. But that's sort of automatically bigger than that, right? Oh, well, that cannot be a 1, because then what can that be? So that's not a 1. That's a 2, that's a 1. Yeah, that has to be smaller than this one. So that's 1, 2, or 3. And this is 2, 4, or 6. And this is, what am I going to say? 7? 7, 6, or 5. So that could never be a 7, because that would break that. But that couldn't be a 1, so that's the same thing. Okay, so these are locked into each other, I think. I don't know if a palindrome line has to contain a digit. You don't know. But that, if that's a 1, that can be 2, 4. And that would be 4, 6, 7, and that's true. No, okay, a lot of stuff is possible there, I think. But that is a 2, 4, or 6. Okay. That makes sense. Now this. I'm going to see what digits co-align. Those do, those do. Those do. I'm going to run out of digits. Wait, those are the same. No, those sum to that digit. That is it. So I need to find a place where these three. Okay, wait. Those two together. Those together. There are different digits, and they are different than blue. So this is now a minimum of 6, because they are a sum, and they see each other. So this one is then a new color. That is, have I used every color? I've used every color. No, I don't want to do it like that, I don't think. Okay, so I need to find places that see each other, and then give those a color. Because this first one that doesn't see that one, this one does see that one, so that's a color. This one does not see that one, this one does not see that one. This one does see that one, and that's a new combination. This one and that one don't see each other, this one and that one don't, this one and this one do. But they're not blue and they're not purple. Could they be purple? Right, it could be purple. They're not the same digit necessarily. This one could even be blue. Because these digits could be the same and that digit could be that digit. So that's not true what I'm thinking. Okay, so this is a sum. This is a sum. Well, okay, what could that be? Because it cannot be a lot of stuff, right? Because this is 1, 2, 3, 4. So that could be 1, 2, that could be 3. It could be 3, 4, so a maximum of 7. But if it's 7, every sum is going to be 3, 4. That is contained entirely within this. So then that and that will be a 3, 4 pair. Then if that's... Wait, no, I have to see that more clearly. If that's red, and that is blue, and that's purple, and that's just some, right? Then this is a sum as well. And if that's the same, if that is a 4, I'm thinking, could it be one of the sums that only has one option? So 7 has one option. 3, 4 has only one option. 5 has only one option. Because that's, no, 5 has 2 options. 5 has 2 options. 6 doesn't. And 7 does. Okay, so if I can prove that there are 2 different sums, then that is 5. And then we kind of know stuff. If I can prove that, so I need to find a place where 2 sums see each other. I need to find a place where 2 of the sums see each other. Is there anything more about the hidden puzzle? It's the wolf. Right. So I need to find a place where the 2 see each other. 1 to 4. Okay, so this 2... No, that 2 isn't part of it. Well, maybe it is, right? Because that's now 1, 3, 4. So 2 isn't one of those. And 2 isn't one of those. And those are both on the line. If that's a 2... Well, okay, so that could now never be 7, because 2 is on the line. But it could be 6. It couldn't be 4 anymore, so it could be 3. It couldn't be 4 anymore. I said 5 or 6. 3, 5, or 6. So that is something. We know that 4 is on the line, so it is not a 3. We know that 3 is on the line, so it couldn't be 6. It could be 6. Never mind, it could be 6. Is there a place... Oh, well, 6 has 2 options as well. Because that's 3, 3, 2, 4. So... I need to find a place... What do I need to find? I'm trying to see how to break it, right? That's the way I'm thinking about this. Because it's very hard to make 3, 3 work. It's very hard to make 3, 3 work. Because if the digits see each other, they cannot be 3, 3. So those don't see each other, those do. So if this is 6, they would have to be 2, 4. So that would be 4, 2. And if, okay, wait. Let's remove this. Because I think that is interesting. So 3, 3 doesn't work in this spot, right? So if it is 5, it is 2, 3, or 1. Okay, no, let's look at the option of 6, because that's more specific. Then that would be 2, that would be 4. And I think I said this one, which is 1 next is that one. 1 next is that one. Yes, these 2 could also not be 3, 3. So that would be 4 and 2 at that point. And that will be a 2 and that will be a 4. That will be a 2 and that will be a 4. Now, what am I saying then? Now I'm saying that's a 1 or a 3. Couldn't be a 1, so that's a 3. That's a 3 then. And that's a 1. And I think, oh no, that could be a 5. That is fine. Maybe I'm proving what is actually correct at this point, but I think it is an interesting thought. So I'm going to continue with it. Now that is 1 corresponds to this one. So that's now 1 or 4. It doesn't really matter what it is. But that's a 3. And that's after this, so that's a 3. Now that's a 1. So that's a 5. That 1 places the 1 there, which says that that's a 5, and then that's a 4, and that does work. All of this works, doesn't it? 5, 4. These two have to be together. That's a 1 and a 5. That does work. Okay. I feel like then that has to be the arrangement. I'm not going to assume that. I'm going to work through the 5 option as well. Yeah. Okay. At this point, okay, so we're saying one of those is 2, one of those is 2. And then that's a 5. That's what we're saying in this trial, kind of. This is harder though, isn't it? Because it's either 2, 3 or 1, 4. All of them. So if that is 2, 3, we know that that is 3, 2. If it's 1, 4, we know that that is 1, 4. Well, we know that these are all 1, 3, or 4. I think you're gonna have to have a harder time with that. Now this is 1, 2, 4. Next one, 1, 2, 4. This one can be anything. That's 1, 3, 4. So that's 1, 2, 4 as well. And this one, 1, 3, 4. So you have 1, 2, 4. That's much, much harder to fish out anything. How could you even? These are both 1, 3, 4. So this one is 1, 2, 4, and that is 1, 2, 4. So one of those is a 3, so that's not a 3, so that's not a 2. So this is a 1, 4 pair, so that is 2 or 3. And that corresponds with... that one, isn't it? Okay, that's the most useless one it could have been. Okay, so one of those is... well, we knew that one of those is 3. So one of those is 2. But it doesn't matter if it's that one. So one of those is 1, I guess. Well, okay, so that one can also not be 1 or 4, so that's a 3. Now we have an... okay, and that corresponds to that digit. But that's not a 3 anymore. So we know that that's a 1 or a 4. That's the second digit, so that's a 1 or a 4. So that has to be a 2. Then that is the 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we know that that's a 3, so that's not a 3 anymore, so that's a 1 or a 4. That's the next one, so that's not a 2. So we have a 1, 4, so that breaks. So that breaks. I don't know if this hypothetical was any interesting, or I don't know if that's the intended way to do it, but that's the only way I could see how you could possibly do it. Yes, exactly. So we have 2, 1, 3, 4, 5, 1, 4, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 6, 3, 2, 1, 4, and 5. That should be the wolf. Yeah, that's the wolf collected. Okay. I think in contrast to the last video, this one is going to be a bit shorter. I'm going to look at the Hall of Illusions a bit more because I don't think I understand. Thank you for watching and have a nice day. Bye bye.